Eddie Hill IV was a gifted 10-year-old student from St. Louis who was allowed to skip third grade and go directly to fourth grade. He was like a little man, always full of life, like a ball of light, one of his teachers said about him. He kept up with the news and read the Bible with his grandfather. However, on July 19th, shots rang out on Eddie's block. Eddie rushed to the window to see what was happening. When he got there, a bullet tore through him, killing him on the spot. Could such a tragedy have been prevented? If stronger gun control laws were put in place, it would mean a severe decrease in mass shootings, the elimination of gun buying loopholes, and a decline of other forms of violence. Gun control is the politics, legislation, and enforcement of measures intended to restrict access to, the possession of, or the use of arms, particularly firearms, states Encyclopedia Britannica. Currently in the U.S., law doesn't allow for people with criminal records, mental illnesses, or illegal immigrants to own guns, states the ATF. Law also requires licensed gun dealers to conduct background checks through the FBI. However, there are major loopholes in this law. Depending on the state, small-scale dealers aren't required to do background checks. This is called the gun show loophole. Criminals are exploiting these loopholes through smaller gun sellers without the FBI knowing. In 1994, the U.S. Congress passed an assault weapons ban that also included high-capacity magazines, which allows the shooter to shoot more bullets without reloading. The law has since expired as of 2004 and has not been renewed. However, some states, such as New York and California, still have similar laws in place today. There are many people who oppose stronger gun control laws. Hunters and gun enthusiasts alike say that stricter laws on guns would interfere with hunting and sport shooting. Legislation like Bill S-649 is an example of that negative impact. Under S-649, one could share a gun while out hunting in the field, but back at the hunting camp, it would be illegal to clean someone else's gun or even to loan a family member a gun, states NRA-ILA. Anti-gun politicians also want to ban items that hunters use. These would include folding stocks, grips, and threaded barrels, which are all used to support hunters. In addition, taking away guns could mean taking away someone's self-defense. USA Today states, liberty isn't the only thing likely to be lost when gun laws are passed to appease emotion over reason, evidence, logic, and rights. Lives will most assuredly be lost too, lots of them. In recent mass shootings, all of the shooters' guns were purchased legally. Stronger gun laws won't help because shooters can abide by the law and still purchase a firearm. The final and biggest drawback of stronger gun control laws would be the fact that it could strip people of their Second Amendment rights. In his interview with Time magazine, criminologist Jacob Davidson explains, "We have a Supreme Court decision that guarantees the right of Americans to keep and bear arms in their homes for lawful purposes. So, we cannot have a prohibition of the private ownership of firearms." Justice Stevens says the Second Amendment wording would have to be changed in order to fit this new interpretation of the Second Amendment, which is that civilians have the right to bear arms for their safety and self-defense. Under this interpretation, limiting guns such as assault rifles would mean taking away people's rights. Supporters of gun control argue about its many pros, such as how gun control would reduce mass shootings. According to Gun Violence Archive, a mass shooting is a shooting in which at least 4 people are shot, not including the shooter themselves. By the end of 2019, there were 417 mass shootings in the U.S. 31 of those shootings were mass murders, states CBS News. After the Port Arthur massacre in April of 1996, Australia banned all semi-automatic weapons, resulting in Australia's firearm homicide rate dropping by roughly 42%. This statistic alone shows just how much of a positive impact stronger gun laws would help on reducing mass shootings. Along with this, recent media polls show that just over 50% of Americans are in support of these laws, their support increasing as the number of mass shootings goes up, showing is gone. In addition, gun buying loopholes would also be eliminated with a stricter law crackdown. Without a background check, people who are normally not allowed to own a gun can. According to Yahoo News, the FBI issued a report warning purchasing a firearm, you must have your FOID card with you. This applies to all gun sales, including gun shows and other smaller dealers. In order to obtain an FOID card, you have to go through thorough background checks, which helps to weed out those who should not own or use guns. Stronger gun control laws would also help reduce the overall risk of violence, such as suicide and accidental injury. Every day, 315 people in America are shot in assaults, suicide attempts, unintentional shootings, and police intervention. Every day, 93 people die of gun violence, states Conventions of Critical Care Nursing. States with firearms have laws. On average, the rate of deaths in Alabama are more than 4 times that of New York, whose laws are some of the strictest in the U.S. Another example would be that data shows that Massachusetts has roughly 20 less deaths per 100,000 than Alaska, and close to 100 more firearm-related laws. After thoroughly reviewing both the pros and the cons, I found that the pros heavily outweigh the cons. Stricter gun laws will mean a severe decrease in mass shootings, a severe drop in all gun-related deaths, and will eliminate all gun buying loopholes, bringing about a safer country. I think that Hillary Clinton said it best when she said, "We cannot let a minority of people," and that's where it is a minority of people, hold a viewpoint that terrorizes the majority of people. Thank you.